Whew. Alright, so let me make sure my mic is close and my voice is close. So I got 5 downloads on the video that I did yesterday, so that's really good. Like, for me to just kind of like sign up, for me to just, you know, this be my first day on putting it on platforms. I got 5 downloads, so I'm actually kind of happy about that. Let me see. I got 5 different downloads. Let me go to my analytics. Yeah, I'm up, baby. 100%. 5 in the last 24 hours, 5 downloads. And I am proud of that. I'm so proud of that. You know, it don't get no better. So let's work on episode 2. Alright, so I kind of typed up like a list full of things that I wanted to go over. So I'm really gonna do it this time because I was kind of bluffing last year. No, I'm telling y'all. But no. So the Childhood Healing 101 series. So we're gonna start with identifying how your any emotion respond to the external world, right? So this goes back to, let me see, world. Let me make sure I put it right. So this is like some questions I was just thinking of, right? So again, so how do you identify with the external world? Like, what do you see the world as? Because that's a that's a start of how you view your life. So if you see the world as like this, like this chaotic place, or you don't see the world for what it is, that could also cause some type of depression in you too. Because it's sort of kind of like, alright, if you ever see the memes where I've seen a meme where it's like a bee, right? It's 2 different people. They have 2 different perspectives, because perspective is the first thing you need to understand in the world. You need to understand that everybody doesn't see the world how you see it. So that's where you start with perspective. So you have to shift out of perspective in order to respond to that external world, right? Because in your world, there's certain things you just wouldn't do, right? Like, you just wouldn't say or do certain things. But then when you step into the external world, there's like a bunch of people doing those things you wouldn't necessarily say or do. Like, how do you respond to that? How does that make you feel? Because a lot of the childhood healing is based upon how something makes you feel. And when you start to dissect these things, you actually start to remember stuff in your childhood, right? So I even got a question where it gets really, really deep, because this is like the introduction, right? Because then you got to go into understanding relationships and why you make decisions based around the things you do, 101. Who taught you your core values, 101. How to remove that way of thinking, 101. How to change the way you think, 101. And what is the root to your addiction? So you can be addicted to anything. Facebook, drugs, sex, Netflix, anything, right? And then we got to go into ego development, 101. Emotional developments, 101. Understanding how each emotion work, 101. Feminine and masculinity development, 101. And breaking down patterns, 101. And what's the cause of these patterns, 101. So once you start to understand, because there's like 50 questions that I made up, and it's going to lead into those series, because once you understand things. So I even got questions that, did you experience verbal or physical abuse as a child? Right? Did you grow up in a home with verbal or physical abuse? Was any parents on drugs? How did that make you feel as a child? Were any parents alcoholics? Then I also have questions where, were you let me see. Were you the oldest? Were you given responsibilities as a child? Do you project those responsibilities onto people as an adult? Do you think people are supposed to take on your responsibilities? Because when you get older, you'll start to feel like people need to do things how you did it. It doesn't make it right or wrong. So let's start off with the fact that these questions doesn't make life right or wrong. Okay? Were you adopted? How did that make you feel being shopped around from home to home? This is where the healing start, because it's like what we are trying to seek in these questions in this journey is the emotion, not the physical aspect of what you went through. The emotion, because 9 out of 10 you're applying that emotion in other areas of your life, which is causing self-doubt, and it's making it hard for you to believe in yourself. So yeah, you might be successful, but you might not believe in love. You might not believe in a relationship. You might not believe that your spouse is capable. You might not believe in so many different things. Or you want to be successful, but you lack self-belief and you have doubt. Where's your success coming from? Is it being placed upon you? Is it something? Are you actually in the right successful field? Did you see a parent do this and you chose to do that too? Because a lot of times what works for other people don't work for you. Are you satisfied with the success you created in your life? Because again, we're not seeking the physical. We're not seeking that physical work. We seeking that emotional work. We seeking the emotion because the emotions is what's not visible to the eye, right? Unless you get in a relationship, unless you in that field and you start to feel depressed. There's so many things that's not visible to the eye, but you still get up every day and go to work. The commitment to doing something. It ties into your addictions and why you do the things you do. So you have to look at all the areas in life and assess all that energy that's because it's being placed in an area you may not see. Because like I said, you could be successful, but your children might suffer. Your relationships might suffer. And you'll always feel obligated. Oh, I got to be responsible. I got to take care of this. I got to take care of that. And that's what ties into the mental illness. Because mental illness and physical health is two different things. That's why you go see a therapist and you go see a doctor. In the American the American Association, Doctor Health Association, right? But what they don't know is that the mental health is tying into why you get sick. Okay? Because they do not assess emotions properly. They diagnose you. Like I said, me going to my therapist and talk to I literally just go to talk to her. Whatever she diagnosed me with, that's because that's what she was taught what to do. That's how she was taught how to read a person. And like I said, I've been graduated out of therapy. I've been done, but I feel like it's important to keep an extra source that's just as educated as me. I didn't go to school to be a therapist. But my therapist love when I talk to her. Both my therapists. They love it. They love when I'm trying to tell you, they like that I'm into this stuff. So you have to access and express the inner emotion to the external world. That's what you got to do. So a lot of times, another thing could be when you wounded, Sometimes people don't wound the adult you. They wound the child in you that needs to be healed. Sometimes you screaming for the inner child is screaming to be heard. And the adult you was like, well, we got to get up and go to work. And we got to be a wife, or we got to love this person. Sometimes the inner child is screaming for freedom. To freedom. Yo, let me tell y'all something. Wait, alright, let me tell y'all something, right? So I told y'all my blood pressure. I don't know. I don't got a blood pressure machine, but I just was feeling like some type of crazy feelings. And when I ate the strawberries, because strawberries are packed with carbohydrates, it kind of went down. So when I woke up this morning, I felt so good. I felt so good. Because I didn't drink or eat anything past a certain time. And it felt better. Then I took my daily supplements. Once you do that, you go to the bathroom. That's another thing too, health. See, because let me tell you about it. Alright, well, I took my supplements or whatever. Did my morning routine. Kinda ate breakfast. I'm still eating something sweet, but I ain't eating it ain't that sweet. I made like these lemon danishes. Oh, they're so good. But you got to use the sugar. But I had the killer cookie dough. That's what I'm just calling it, the killer cookie dough. I'm trying to tell you, them cookies had me fucked up. But you know what? It's the sugar. I think I don't know, the cookies, they was good, but I think I needed to put some salt in it to kind of balance. I think they might have just been overly sweet. So I'm feel way better. Like, I feel a lot better. But I do think that like that lady said, like, it's important to not eat sugar in the morning time, because yeah. But moving on. So let's talk about the health too, in the gut area, because when you eat certain food, that gut area brings depression. It actually alters the way you think and feel too when you eating certain stuff. Or you not getting, like, having backed up waste cause depression. Not detoxing cause depression, anxiety, all of those beautiful things. I mean, it's not beautiful, but all of those things. So you have to assess how you see the external world, because you see these people talk about these things, but then you feel like they don't apply to you. Why wouldn't they not apply to you? I think everybody want to wake up and feel good. Like, everybody want to wake up and feel better. But it's like you have to, you got to apply yourself too. But anyway, back to the inner emotion, right? So, a lot of times, how we see the world is really how basically how we see our lives. And what we go and do as humans is try to protect ourselves and protect our children. But it's not the world, it's the people in the world. And then you're surrounded by people who's not emotional responsive. So that's what you're really fighting. It's like spiritual warfare. It's not that you're physically fighting a person. It's like you're spiritually fighting a person because they don't understand your disposition. A lot of times people don't set boundaries. They're non-responsive. Non-responsive. And it doesn't make it right or wrong. Right? So when you start to view the world as this place, as a better place versus what you look out when you see outside, because you might live on a block where these people get killed, or you might live on a block where it's drugs, and that's not the world. That's people in the world that do those things. You could go outside and ground yourself. It's very important that you once in your life, go back to nature and just go sit by some water, or sit in a park where there's a bunch of grass, or sit under the trees. Or I used to have a tent. I used to go sit, and when I used to sit in the tent, I used to feel so good. I used to feel so good. You want to know why? Because I was close to the earth. It's a fact that when you ground yourself, that your vibration starts to slowly move. Some of the illnesses in your body start to slowly dissipate into the earth. It's all root chakra energy. What is the ground? Roots in the ground. So a lot of times when you're trying to respond to the external world, is because you might have a blocked root chakra, right? And I'm gonna associate all the chakras with these questions that I'm going to ask, because 9 out of 10, you have to remember, like, you have to remember these things, because this is why you fully can't really fly off into the sunset how you want to, is because the mind has a way of blocking out anything that was harmful so you can continue life, but it actually affects you because you don't remember it, and it's playing out in areas of your life. You got 12 areas of life. This is why we read astrology. This is why it's good to get a natal reading. The first area is how you see yourself. That's the first question. I am, right? Represent Aries. And another thing, I am, I think, I feel. Like, those are powerful questions, because you literally talking to the higher self and telling your higher self, I am this, I am ... or I feel ... Like, why do you feel? Ask yourself, why do I feel like this? When I'm in my state of feeling like the world is against me, people don't love me, or people want to use me, why do I feel like this? And it's going to go back to a time where you was nice, you was genuine. It's going to go back to what? The past. So it's not it's not who you are today, it's who you used to be that's affecting you. And as you get older, they say heal the past. You can heal the past, but the past never go away. It's something you can't forget, because today is the present, right? It's the present and the future. This is where it merges. So alright, so here's the thing. The present and the future is merging today. So if those two is merging, then that means your past is still open. And the past and the future merges today to who you are. Right? When the past and the present merges, that's the future. Because your past and your present is merging so you can have a better future. So it's like you kind of thinking like, oh, say if you grew up poor, right? That's your past. And then your present, you thinking about, I remember when I used to be poor. I need to fix this shit. That's the future. And the present and the future is your past. Because right now you're thinking, damn, I need to better myself for the future. I need to make this plan a year from now because of what happened to you in your past. Like, so we know these things as the external world, right? So it's like, how do we make these things better? And it's all based around how you feel. So this is why we preach the healing and the emotions. It's not about the masculinity or the femininity. It's not about you being man or you being a woman. It's about who you are as a person. I am, I feel, I think. So I must speak. Like, I must express these things, because if I don't, then I'll start to feel like I don't have a voice. We not saying going out and purge motherfuckers that harmed you in the past, because you know, like I said, whatever your past could be as a child, because you might have been molested or touched. You might have been that, but that's not who you are. Okay? Is the emotion that you carry, right? And there's so many different ways to identify these things by the way you act. So when you start to go out and you start to talk to people and you start to tell people certain things, always make sure you validating how they feel. Like I told the guy from Ruffins, I think his name is Chico. Sometimes logic don't validate the child. And because the child don't have validation from the parent itself, is going to go into the world and look for that in people who don't give a fuck. Also, emotion it causes addictions. I told y'all that. You got the heroin come from the heroin, the crack users. Most likely they was touched or they was the molester. Sex addictions come from Percocets and X. Yeah. And verbal abuse and not being heard in the home and telling them to be quiet and having to sit back and watch your mom be abused. That's alcoholism. A lot of I know, I won't say I know, but, well, I do know, but there are some men who's addicted to alcohol because their mom left. They don't have no relationship with their mother. There are some men that's like that. Was a parent absent in the home? Yeah, well, you know, my mom left when I was, or my dad left. Okay. So let's start there. How did that make you feel? Because as a child, can you remember how it made you feel? Because we know how you feel as an adult. It's going to be easy to say, well, you know, I feel like, how did that make you feel as a child? We're not talking about the adult. We didn't even get to the teenager part yet. We didn't even get to the teen of who you are, because you got the childhood healing, you got the child, then you got the teenager in you, then you got the man. A lot of y'all princes, y'all not kings. Y'all no king. And I say that because you have a very surfacey way of looking at a woman's worth. And princes are people who are exploring. They not the king. They can't call the shots when the war comes. They go run and hide. The prince like to surround himself around beautiful women, but can't make a decision on who he wants to marry. Y'all not king. No kingy. No t'challa. No t'challa. No takaka. No none of that. You princess. You ain't even a knight. Cause then you got the prince, knight, king. That's how we put it. We do it in Mama D in that order. And some of this you might not be able to. You gotta let it sit in. You gotta let this information sit in the soul. Let it listen to the higher self. You gotta listen to your higher self. You may reject this information because you think you're right. That's fine too, but it ain't gonna change the fact that you no kingy. So like I said, you know, a prince has a surfacey way of seeing life. Because they are in line for the throne. They don't have the throne. There might be two other brothers that's in line for the throne. And the one that matures, the one that see life from a mental, emotional, and spiritual perspective gets the throne. There's no way. If a king see a prince is immature, he's not going to give him the throne. He's not. You have to work on these things because this is what's important. This is how you grow up. You don't grow up by going out and getting a job. You don't grow up by having a baby. You don't grow up by being a mom. Because the moment you feel like, okay, my kids this, my kids that, when you go date a man, baby, them kids ain't do too much. That's why I said we was listening to Khalees song last night, and I said, well, damn, like, it's deep for a woman to feel like that. But then you got a song, Khalees got a song called Out There. I hate you so much right now. Then she goes to sing, I just want to get along with you. There's some conflict there. I mean, I like both songs. Don't get me wrong. It's a bop. You can listen to them. But I don't take this stuff into consciousness and be like, well, no. I might can feel it, but I mean, that's, to me, it's just a little bit surfacey, right? But in relationships, like, you go from, you hate a person. A lot of times you see men and women in relationships, they be hating their spouse. They don't grow their spouse. They don't call their spouse out on the little shit. Or they don't call their spouse out on, okay. A lot of times when people deal with other people, they don't be calling them out to grow up. It's like they call them out to validate what they did to them. There's a reason why they're doing it. Like, okay, so you hurt me. I need you to acknowledge that you hurt me so we can get over it. No, that's not how it works. Like, you need to understand why that person hurt you. Not acknowledge the fact that, well, I need him to apologize, or I need him to go buy me this, or I need him to. No, it's not going to work like that. He's not going to change, because he has to assess why those actions led to him hurting you. And this is where we respond to the external world. This is where we do these things. This is where the inner emotion starts to project the external world. You're taught forgiveness. And I've always had issues. I don't know. I don't know. Because I've always had issues with forgiveness. I've always had it. Because a lot of times you're taught forgiveness, but it doesn't erase the emotional pain. Because truly, if it's not assessed a certain way, that person is going to do these things again. They're going to do it again. So I have always had issues with trying to figure out, okay, what is forgiveness to me? And you know what it is to me? Is a self thing, right? It don't got nothing to do with people, right? It's almost like forgive yourself for allowing yourself to go through this stuff. And the person has to forgive themselves for hurting you. So it's not a thing where it doesn't mend any fucking thing. In fact, it doesn't mend the pain. Like, it's like a self thing. Again, to me. So no, I'm not seeking forgiveness. No, I'm not. No. Because when I talk to myself, I tell myself, you got to get over this. You got to forgive this. You got to do these things. It's only to better myself, not to fix a relationship. And in the midst of forgiveness, you might have to let that person go too. Why relationships work okay, they go seek therapy. Why are you seeking therapy, right? Why do you seek couples therapy? Not to really make the relationship work, but to address the differences between the inner and external. That's why you seek therapy. Because a lot of times it's going to be like, well, he does this and I don't like that. Why do he do that? Right? I'm trying to tell you, it's very detailed. When you start to heal yourself, like, the work is so detailed, because every little thing is going to be like, well, why? And it's always going to lead you back to, well, my mom treated me, or my dad did this, it's always going to lead you back there. Always. Okay? So that's the first question. That was kind of good. I'm doing good, right? I'm doing good. Alright, so what's the day? Oh God, today's the 14th. Wow, Well, I kind of, the days changed. Alright, anyway. Alright, so that's the first question. So identifying with the inner emotion and responding to the world, because you are a grown adult. Like I said, we had a bunch of grown people, and I mean, some of these people was 50, 60 in this class, complaining, oh, I can't save money because I like to order DoorDash, or I gotta pay this bill, I gotta pay it. And the guy said it all starts with discipline. That's another reason why I quit smoking weed too, because I'm tired of spending my goddamn money on that shit. It's called discipline. When you stop, you save more money. Listen, when you addicted to something, eats the money up. You be feeling like, okay, this little $5, $10, $20 weed ain't nothing, until you buy about 10 of them bitches. And then when you broke and you want to smoke, then what? That really goes to show how addicted you is. So again, it's all about the discipline. If you can't stop yourself from doing something, you're not disciplined. Like, at all. If you can't stop yourself from risk, you're not disciplined. That's why I don't understand why so many men will build a beautiful home with a woman and lose it all. Just like that. What do that mean to you? What does it mean? It must not mean very much. If you done put time and effort into an image, you done put time and effort into a status, or you done put time and effort into creating the circumstances of a nice home where the kids is protected, what does that mean to you? Because a lot of times you also have to go. Let me put this in the divorce, okay? Because a lot of times the divorce of parents affect the kids so hard. Let me put that up in there. Divorce. Because I spell it right. I think it kind of affected me too, because my mom and dad was married. We be trying to figure out why the dad ain't in the home no more. The mom ain't gonna be real with you. She's not gonna say, well, come sit down so mommy can tell you why daddy left. Because daddy wanted to be with another woman. And if they do, it's gonna be like, it's probably gonna be on some bitter stuff. They're gonna resent the fact that the father is not around, or the father left for another woman. They're gonna resent it. And a lot of times parents feel like they don't need to tell you shit because you ain't no adult. I don't gotta tell you that. Why you gotta? Yes, you do. If a child is asking you a question, especially about a parent or something they don't understand, why you feel the need that you don't have to tell that child anything? This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is where the trauma, your first trauma, always gonna come from your parents. Always. I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. Always. I think I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. Did y'all know Professor Snape in Harry Potter, his line was he always loved Harry Potter. Even though he act like he hated him, he always loved him. Because he always loved his mother. He felt like Harry Potter dad was the reason the mom got killed. Right? Because I think the mom was the mom was the witch. Wasn't the mom the witch? Yeah, the mom was the witch. Yeah, it was the half-blood prince. No, was it? Wait, who was the... Let me see. Because Harry Potter was Snape. Harry Potter was the half-blood prince. Who was the witch? James or Lily? Lily was the witch, not James. It was Muggle born. Okay, wait, hold up. So they wait. So okay, yeah. So they both was, but Lily parents was Muggle. Lily is a Muggle born witch. James is a pure blood. See, Harry Potter was really the half blood prince. All right, well, let's move on past that, but no, they goes to the always thing, but yeah, always. He always loved her. All right, so the next question is shutting down or being non-responsive. Okay. So, again, you have to assess shutting down, right? And I know that our parents probably did their best. Yeah, they most likely did. Especially when you look at it from a perspective of them having to put in the same work and kind of heal. But see, the best part about blood and spirituality and metaphysics and frequencies and stuff is that it take one person to step up, because what you doing is, okay, so this is why they probably will consider generational curses. And I truly believe that generational curse can be walking on a motherfucker earth. Because if, like I said, if you somebody in your family that's a certain way and you cause pain and suffering to other people, you're the curse. That's just how I'm looking at it. And then there's, because you get a good, I always look at things as, okay, you got the dark spectrum and the light spectrum. So if there's a light spectrum to generational healing, then there got to be like a dark part, right? It has to be. So this is where the generational healing come in and generational curses come in, because see, again, in here the internet washes everything down to, it's so water washed. It's annoying, because you'll have a lot of people saying they're breaking generational curse. You ain't breaking shit. You ain't breaking nothing. You ain't even breaking in the house. So when the generational curses, it starts and you start to do the work, you actually start to heal the frequency of the bloodline. This is where this stuff starts to activate in your DNA. And you heal the frequency of the bloodline. See, alright, so when you watch Soul Food, right, the old joint with Big Mama, and she got burnt, she put the butter on it. The little boy is actually healing the frequency. Remember, he lied and said Big Mama wanted us to get together and do all this, and he started crying and he said, he just, that's him healing his childhood. That's the generational curse healer. He did all of that just to bring them people together. He had to lie, because that's what they probably used to. Instead of him calling everybody and saying, well, let's get together and have Thanksgiving, he had to lie and manipulate, because that's what they used to. And what happened? He got what he wanted. But in the end, he basically said, this is what, because the grandma was healing the connection until she died. Until she passed away. But then once she passed away, it went to what? The child. So the child is the next in line. So whatever child you got, that's the next in line. You ain't it. The child is it. That's where it's at. That's where the healing starts. In the child. Unless you corrupt that child and abuse that child and take all of the good elements away from the child, and you take the imaginary way and you try to teach the child how to be a man when the child was trying to learn how to be a fucking child. You should not be teaching a 6-7-year-old how to be a fucking man. You should be teaching them how to be a child so he can transition into being a teen. Then that's when you start to teach the manhood, once they get into the teenage years. But when a child is a child, teach the child. This is where you're supposed to be teaching the child how to deal with the emotions. This is where the mother is supposed to be teaching the child how to deal with the emotions. Because that transition from child to teen is going to, and then the child is going to teach the child how to be the man. But you be having 6, 7, teaching the child how to be a man. That it grows the child up mature. Well, not even mature, but it puts the child in a space of feeling like they have to be a man, and when they all they want to do is go play football, basketball. It's like, to me, I be feeling like parents be jealous of their kids, like, especially if the child is put in a position that they didn't even get to explore. They become jealous. Like, parents could be jealous of children too. I feel like, if you got a child and you quick to tell a child, oh, shut up and sit down and well, I can see if they bouncing off the walls and all of that stuff, but then that ties into health. But you got a child and the child want to do something, you take stuff, like certain little things like you do, to me is a sign of, you didn't get that as a child, so you take it away from the child, and now the child is growing up acting like you. Let the child be a child. Like, what's wrong with children being children? A lot of times when you have kids, but see, when you don't teach, we're not taught generational wealth either. That's a big thing. Because if you had a big house, then that child bouncing off the wall, you wouldn't give a fuck. If you had some generational wealth created where a home was passed down, or you had a bigger home, or you had something where you could put the child in, maybe the child bounced around the house all day because the child is stuck in the house. There's nothing for the child to do but bounce around the fucking walls. Coming from a child who bounced around the fucking walls, like, until my mom put me in African spirituality programs. That's when things started to change. It's nothing for the child to do but sit in the house and you throw a tablet or a phone in front of the child's face. After a while, the child is going to, that, first of all, that alone is going to, is not creating development within the child. So of course you're going to get sassy little girls, little boys that don't listen, and then when they do that, about then you beating their ass. Like, I used to feel like, well, my daughter, she learned independence now, right? But I felt as though if she went to Girard, because I used to always want to send my daughter to Girard College. Mind you, I got a few cousins that went to Girard College, right? They went to Girard College, and I used to go there, or my aunt used to work there, and I used to go there on the weekends. And when my cousin, I used to be so sad when my cousin had to leave and go to school, but I always wanted to go to Girard College. Now, I don't know if Girard College is the same. I know that they had a lawsuit. I know that there was some child molestation going on and all of that shit. I know that type of stuff was happening, but I used to always want to go to Girard College because Girard College teaches you independence. Like, it teaches you how to get up in the morning time. It teaches you, okay, your mom and dad not there to teach you certain things. You got to do it on your own. And this is another thing. This is where it pisses me off when you hear people talk about independence, because it's like you take away. It's like if you feel some type of way about a woman being independent, which is fucking retarded, because you don't even know why that woman is like that. Like, and a lot of times when women are like that and they mistreating you, that's just them mistreating you. Like, but if you a man that fear independence, what the fuck are you gonna teach your children? If you never teach a child how to tie their shoe, they gonna be walking around here with untied shoes. Like, so y'all gotta stop shutting down. Cause you fear. I'm trying to tell you, fear what you don't understand. Like, and when you can't conquer it, you start to hate on people. That's why I said, like, a lot of men, they fear a certain type of woman. They fear her. They be scared of her. They'll try to do everything to her to hurt her. And when they see that she won't die, they start to hate on her, because once you figure out, well, damn, like, she ain't scared of me, I'm more scared of her, or what she got going on, or what she doing with her life, he gonna start hating on her. Because he couldn't conquer her. And that's another thing. Men need. Why do y'all feel a need? We are not animals. We not no lion or no tiger or no cheetah. You can't. First of all, you dealing with a feminine frequency. In the yin and yang, feminine energy represents negative energy. It represents darker energy. So it's like, how the hell are you trying to conquer something that has way more natural force than you? That's why back in the days, the men, they didn't marry the women and sleep with them. They married the women for the educational part. They married the women who can run the empire. They married the woman who was more sociable, more educated. Not because she had good pussy, or you wanted to have 2, 3, 4 different wives. Some of y'all weird. Like, you have the extras. Am I a weirdo? Yes. Like, I'm trying to tell y'all, listen, if nobody don't never tell you shit or tell you things about yourself, you gonna walk around life with this big ass head until somebody tell you the truth. Then you gonna hate them. And then you gonna hate them and shit. If you ain't that's why it's a lot of people don't keep it real with themselves. If you don't keep it real with yourself, you fake. Cause it start with you. Like, if you lie to yourself, you tell yourself certain stuff, you fake as hell. Like, you fake. If you lie to yourself and you know something can better you. So, and a lot of y'all, especially, I'm gonna use men, because these are men are more emotional than women. And a lot of times they not emotional until you tell them about themselves. Then they hop in their feelings. You not mad at that girl because she half naked on the internet. You mad because you feel some type of way about her. You feel some type of way about women being like that. That's what you mad at. But you're not mad at her personally. She's just like the illusion of why you really feel some type of way. You should be embarrassed by your behavior. You should be embarrassed when you inboxing a woman multiple different times and she ignore you. You should feel humiliated. Because it's something inside of your mind that's not fucking clicking. Like, and then you got to deal with the non-responsive stuff. Why are you not responding to your environment? And when you do respond to it, is with anger. It's with fear. It's with sad. It's with all the negative emotions. This is some root chakra stuff right here. Right? I'm trying to tell y'all. Because the childhood healing ties into the chakra healing. Because once you start to clear out that chakra, you grow up. I'm trying to tell you, the chakras go up. I mean, I feel like you can start. I feel like if you balance the crown, well, I don't know. Can you start out with the crown and go with that? I feel like you'll probably, I don't know. We just gonna leave that for another conversation, because I feel like if you can balance your crown chakra, like, I don't know, maybe it can go up and down. I don't fucking know. But once you clean out the chakra, you have to put a flow of positive energy back into the chakra, and you close it up. You ever see Doctor Strange and shit when they had the gem, the green gem that Doctor Strange had he had the task of protecting, and he couldn't give this stone to nobody, and if he gave it away, that means that there's some really bad trouble coming. And you see how he will open it with his fingers with the mudras. He will open it with his fingers, and the stone will come. That's like your chakras, to be quite honest. And it was 7 stones, and he had the green one, and he had to protect it with his heart. So if he gave it away, that's why when the hawk went to the let me see, what's her name, the lady, let me go get her name. I said lady, not girl. Wise one. I think her name was the wise one. The ancient one. Not the ancient one. The ancient one. That's why when Hawk went to the ancient one, and he was telling him, like, Strange sent me to get the stone because of a timeline, something, and she just shut up and she gave him the stone. She just at first she was fighting him and shit. She was fighting the Hawk. She'd beat the Hawk ass and put him in the metaphysical world and removed his ego. When she punched him and his soul flew out his body. See, when on Doctor Strange is a good movie to watch when it comes to chakras. When Strange was telling her, I don't believe in this stuff, I don't believe in, he was being real hectic about it, real mad and crazy, because he just wanted his hands to work. He was worried about being a surgeon. That's all he was worried about. And she was telling him, like, you know, it's more to life than that. And once he actually figured it out, like, he never went back to being a surgeon. He stayed a spiritualist, right? So when Strange was coming at her, telling her he don't believe in none of this stuff, and she knocked his soul out of his body, she removed the ego, and he started to see the world for what it was. Okay? So when the Hawk came to her, he was telling her, give over the stone, or give him what he wanted. She knocked, actually, the Hawk, when he turned into the Hawk, that's his alter ego. And she knocked his alter ego out, and she stripped him to his naked self, which is him being a man, right? And once he calmed down and he told her what was going on, she shut up and she gave him the stone. That's how you clean. That's like your chakras. That's how you clean your chakras out, right? So, you know, that's how they work. So, what time is it? Because I'm trying to keep these an hour. So, again, men, women, you gotta remove. You gotta be knocked out of that ego state. You gotta be knocked off of that high horse. At some point, somebody's gonna knock you off of that shit, and you gonna realize, damn, like, who am I? Because a lot of times you shut down, you're not responsive, because you built yourself up in a world to think a controlling way, a certain way, or this way has gotten you through life, but eventually it's going to start working, right? There's this thing, right, where, and this is in his book, where the man would use a rabbit's foot for luck. He relied on his rabbit foot every time something happened or something went wrong. He will rely on his rabbit foot until the rabbit foot stopped working. Then He was stuck because he built himself up to believe that if I do this ritual and use this rabbit foot, I'll get what I want. Until it start working. So at some point, what you taught, how you move, what you feel and think is going to stop working. And then you're going to be one of them people that used to have all the females and they was popular in high school. You're going to be one of them people who used to reminisce on how you used to get stuff because you don't know how to change your perception. Lemon water. I'm drinking some lemon water today. That's why, in high school they used to talk about, remember all the guys wanted the bad female in high school. Now she's just the big chick up the street, like Martin said. Used to be one of the prettiest. We want to tell that. She used to be one of the prettiest girls in the world. Now she's just the big bitch up the street. Yeah. At some point, what you learning is going to stop working if you're not evolving past what you're teaching. And this is why I say my spirituality is a difficult level to achieve, because it's like, and I'm not saying that because I feel like I'm the baddest spiritualist or nothing. No, I'm saying it because it's like each time I evolve and I get settled in, and I'm like, damn, like, here come another challenge. Boom, 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 boom. It's like tennis. Like on some shit, it's like playing tennis. Like my spirituality to me is like playing tennis. Once I hit the ball come right back to, and it's every day. So a person might not be able to keep up with that, but after a while you get used to it. So it's like you always evolving outside of things. Like I'm starting to evolve outside of these childhood healing teachings. I can't go for so long and make this my identity. I cannot do that. It's like I have to evolve outside of these teachings and start a new book. Like it's like writing books. Like being in spirituality is like writing your own book, telling your own story. And the fact that so many people fear growth and evolvement, they don't want to evolve outside of emotions because they don't understand them. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 stuck in life. Because just because you're getting older, that don't mean life stop. That don't mean, okay, he's 60, let's give him all the wisdom. No, that don't mean that. That means that you 60 and you don't know nothing about the world. And after a while, it starts to become what? A humiliation ritual. You know you humiliated. You know you a certain age and shit ain't working. You know you a certain age and you still blaming women for the women you choose. It don't make sense to me. How can you complain about women and those are the women you chose to be with? Ain't nobody put no gun to your head. You still complaining about men and those, you consistently meet those same people. Now I can understand if it's like somebody you want to be with. Don't get them to validate how you feel. Get them to validate that they're not moving nowhere in life. Get them to validate that they're not growing up. They have to realize, like, damn, I'm not growing up as man. Let me go grow up. That's what they got to do. You shouldn't. Okay, a person hurt you, right? That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You feel like they should pay. That's the normal thing to feel. Because especially if it's coming from a place of genuine, it's like you really, really love this person, right? And this is why I say, men, if you got a woman that you love, validate her emotions, but you can't because you don't know how to express yours, right? So you just gonna shut down. You're gonna be non-responsive, right? So with we as women, the feminine spectrum, the empress spectrum, the divine feminine spectrum, I don't have to have 10 bit. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to curse. I don't have to have a room full of females talking to them. I could do it right from here because it's in me. That's who I am. And the only reason why a female will feel some type of way is because she can't see herself doing this shit, but the whole time she got it in her. She just choosing not to. What you need to do is you need to heal the spectrum first. And if these teachings take me to a TED room or TED talk, that's fine. But just like I'm telling y'all, I'm gonna tell them, first you start with you. You start to heal the spectrum of who you are as a man and as a woman. And a lot and men, and this is the crazy part about men, is because men feel like women is, you want a woman for a surface thing. That's not what we for. We here to develop you, nurture you, care for you. That's what we here for. If you reject that, you don't want that you don't want feminine energy. You want masculinity. Always. Always. You reject the feminine, what does that say about you? A lot of men talking about women is masculine, but a lot of them reject femininity. You want to know why? Because you don't see it. You shut down. You're non-responsive to the feminine energy in your own body. So how can you reciprocate her energy? How? You want a dummy. You want somebody you control, because you operate in extreme masculinity. That's why I said men who balance both, they understand how they woman feel. They gonna come talk to their woman, and they not gonna leave her out. Although LeBron is getting exposed for cheating, you really think he leaves Savannah out on important situations and decisions? Hell no. He go to his wife and he talk to his wife. I'm pretty sure he do. Yeah, he might have been cheating on her and shit and doing all different types of weirdo shit, because that's what men do. But again, he probably just got caught up in the limelight of him being a celebrity. I'm pretty sure he want to know what it feels like. Every man probably want to know what it feels like to be a celebrity and have all different types of women throw themselves at you, but after a while they get tired of it. And if he married her young, so he ain't get a whole phase. Cause first of all, he married her. He was in college. He started to play ball. They had kids. He didn't get to explore that shit. Like, and then he become this big basketball player. What I'm talking about? Become this big basketball player. And he married. Yeah, he was gonna make some mistakes and shit. But Drake a snake. He ain't had to expose that. That's how Drake nasty work. Like, nasty work. And to think that I used to like him. Drake could be the type of man that'll beat your ass. Like, he'd probably put his hands on a woman and act like it ain't never happened. That dad is nasty work. Nasty work. Then you have a person who have a dad that's nasty. He sleep with young girls and all different types of stuff. You ain't hear about them parties he was at with them old ass men inviting young women and shit? That's nasty work. But then you got a dad like that. And what he teach you? How to be nasty just like him. Why you want your kids to be like that? That's trauma. Like, you putting that trauma on. I'm trying to tell you, your first trauma come from your parents. Like, you also have to, with the childhood healing, how many men or women was around you as a child? Did your mom put a man before you? Did your dad put a woman before you? Because those things are important, because this is what you're going to do in relationships. Why is it that a woman suffers, or you could tell how her dad wasn't around? Like, we can't tell your mama ain't raised you right. Why is it like that? Why do men think that they are an exception to work? Like, and that's because it's sad, yo. It's so sad. Like, I feel so bad for the masculine, because I'm trying to tell you, the divine masculine is not like that. Like, it's like the divine masculine is like screaming. It's like your higher self. It's like screaming. Your inner child is screaming for help, and it's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Like, that shit is sad. It's so sad. Like, sometimes it's best for you to outgrow certain practices and teachers, is because at the end of the day, that's not who you are. Like, it's okay to want to be like your dad, and your dad raised a fine man, but you ain't your daddy. Because then you got your own family, and the woman you meet ain't going to be like your mama. So the dynamic's going to change. It acknowledge that your dad stored practices and wisdom in you, but honestly, you're not that. You're not him. And stuff like that, when you say stuff like that, it pisses people off for whatever reason. Because it's a box that you in, and you told yourself you could admire and be inspired by the man that your father was, but honestly, you're not going to make every decision like him. He raised you properly. He gave you the tools to success, but he also wanted you to do better than him. And this is good dads. Good dads want you to be better than them. And some dads is just jealous, or moms is jealous. Some of the moms don't even shit. I was watching the video of the girl, the boyfriend beat this girl, and this girl looked like, and it was so sad. And I just it was just so sad. I think she looked like she was about maybe 19 or 20, and the boyfriend beat her up, and the boyfriend took and inboxed the mom and was talking to the mom, and the mom told her, so the daughter is like, Mom, she's like, first of all, I would have stopped calling my mom right then and there. She would have been bitch. Like, that's how you know they care, after you done did them wrong and they still call you mom. This how you know, son. This how you know your child love you. Because you can do them wrong and treat them wrong, and they'll still call you mom. I remember being young and a teenager and just feeling a certain type of way. And I hated that I had to call my mom and dad at some point. Until I got over the shit. And she was like, she was crying, and she was like, Mom, why would you talk to him? Like, look at my eye. And the mom is like, he don't want to be with you. He don't want you. I wish I could jump through that phone. We would have jumped that bitch. Like dead ass serious. Like, men get it. They dad, when they get older and some of the men don't call their dad, they call him by his real name. They call him by his real name. What's Shaquille O'Neal? He said his stepdad was his dad. I don't even think he called his dad by his real name. The men get it. But that's how you know they care, because they'll still call you mom or dad after you done mutilized, left their ass, and treated their ass with humiliation and embarrassed them and spread their business and did all of that stuff. They still see you as their mother and their father. I'm trying to tell you, good moms want you to be better than them. Your child is not your fucking friend. It's okay to have a friendship or some type of friendly connection, but that's not your motherfucking friend. That's not your friend. So we just gonna end that right there, cause it's about 8:22. What's probably been a lot for? Let me see, cause I got my day don't start till a little bit later. Yep, it don't start until a little bit later. Ooh. Trying to tell you, I better work on your blood sugar. I don't know. I feel like I do know that North. I'm trying to tell you that North Node mood in Pisces. You feel every fucking thing. Let me see, G, man. Let me check out. Like, I gotta check I be checking my email. Declaration of emergency in the wildfire. See, they emailing me for the insurance. I ain't reading this shit. Pay for them motherfucking people. First of all, oh yeah, let me see, non-captive. I think I can do this. No, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to participate. Thank you. Have a great day. Next. Thank you. Next. Thank you. Next. But we just going to end this. Time to grow up, okay? Time to grow up. Time for we going from a boy child, man child, to just we dropping off the child part, because we gonna heal that part, and we just gonna go with the men. We dropping off the girl part and just go to a woman. That's what we gonna do. But yeah, I think we'll start these in the morning time, and I might come up on here in the afternoon or after I get finished my day. Cause I'm this year I'm really going to dedicate, cause I've always wanted to do streams and lives and stuff like that, and I've talked about this stuff for a really long time, and I never really put the effort into it, but I kind of did. But I literally had to this year I kind of created a study, so we already got the first episode up, and I'm trying to tell you, this stuff gonna go somewhere. It's just so I'm just waiting on. I'm so patient, cause I can feel it in my bones. I'm just waiting for that one day, and I'm gonna just keep adding to that one day, keep adding to that one day, keep adding to that one day. I'm just focused on that one day. And that's all I need. I don't need to rush it. I ain't in competition. And anybody that come against me will fall. I promise. So, the next questions is going to be, were you able to freely express yourself in the home as a child? Because we'll get into why those emotions and feelings surrounded by that, and then we'll get what emotions do you identify with the most. Then we'll start to go into what these emotions are, and we'll have some, you can do some little exercises if you like. Get you a nice little journal. Men. Nicki Minaj looking both at the men. Video. Yo, that's my video of 2025, and Nicki Minaj when she was looking at the men and shit that I posted. That's me all 2025. Nicki Minaj looking at both of the men back and forth. Get you a nice journal. Go sit by some water. Go fishing. And go fishing. Fishing will help you a lot. Go do some man stuff. The North Node is changing. That means destiny's changing. You might used to be a truck driver. You might want to do construction now. Might want to fix toilets and be a plumber. Nicki Minaj looking at both of them. Face. Okay. The North Nodes are changing. There's a lot to digest. I know. But we gonna get there. You also gotta add the jail part too, because a lot of parents was in jail too. Talk to your child. Ask your child how they felt when you was away. That helps. You gotta heal yourself for being away that long. Heal yourself from being absent. Heal yourself from the fact that the mom might have drove you away. You gotta heal yourself from them things. Forgive yourself. Maybe at the time you didn't know what to do. Maybe it was best. But you gotta forgive yourself for these things. You forgive yourself also because I think, like I said, forgiveness to me is more of a self thing. It's not acknowledging that the person did this to you and you okay with it. It's acknowledging the fact that you had to deal with it and you got over it. And then when you start to realize things, you'll start to see how people are resentful. When you start to realize it was things you can't take back in your life, you start to see how resentful people truly are when it comes to that situation. And at that point, you'll be okay with it because you know what you did and what you could have did and you didn't do at the moment. So yeah, episode 2. Let's get it.